So this is another WordPress that I've made, and we can view it. For now, I'll go over to the widgets over here. So you see I've made a sidebar widget with a custom menu that I've called Navigate, because this actual WordPress theme, I'll show you guys it. So I basically took, let's see, let me find a live demo. Here we go. So I basically took this theme that you're about to see. I took this theme and, with my knowledge of HTML and CSS, morphed it into this. So it's the exact same thing. I just manipulated the HTML and CSS to where I altered the size of this to this size, altered the black bar here so it wasn't as large and consumed a majority of the image. Basically revamped this entire web page. And since the navigation was up here, I didn't want that because I was trying to mesh their old site with this new one, and their navigation was on the left vertically. So what I did was make a menu of links to pages, and then made a custom menu in here that selected the menu that I named navigation. So if we look under here, under menus, you'll see that my navigation, home, membership and donations, board members and contacts, that's all right here. And so I'm basically, I even altered the sidebar, because if we look on, let's go to About. This over here is the sidebar. This whole, obviously, the sidebar. And that was default set to the right, so all I did was set it to the left, and then set all the content to be beside that. And so you can actually go in there and edit the HTML and CSS by going to Appearance and Editor. And so under Editor, under this it defaults to IE CSS, but we can go under Styles and select our global style sheet. We also have various pages in here that we can actually go under and edit. It also brings in things like our header, not our actual physical header for the website, but the actual code header. So that's an entire different file. So if you had an external JavaScript file or anything like that, that's where you would put it, right in this header file. And it just using PHP adds that header file to each page that needs it. You see here we have various scripts. I've added some were already on here. So this is where we can actually go in and edit hardcore what we want this site to look like. And so obviously we have our CSS, our body tag there. We've got an ID of header, and then we can just see a bunch of classes, just like we've seen in other courses. So it's just a matter of finding what is what. So we can kind of assume that main container slogan has something to do with this right here. So this is kind of what they're talking about as a slogan. And I would figure that out by altering that code and seeing what changed on the actual web page.
That's how I do it.
People have different ways of doing it. I know Safari has a developer plugin where you can just kind of hover over things on the page and it shows you what code that is pertaining to. So there's definitely different ways that you can find out what does what. But so this, under Appearance Editor, that's where you'd actually start manipulating what the site really the frameworks of the site. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck within this general template. And so my goal with all of this is to find a site that's closest to what I want, and then envision how I want it, and envision how I can code it to manipulate it the way I want.
Can you pause for a second? Can you go back to the editor?
Yeah.
On the PHP sheets, that's where you're putting in HTML code?
Like the header over here? Yeah.
So, like,
so
an example that goes in HTML that you place?
Well, let's do. Let me come over. Let's see.
Like, it's the positioning and stuff. Like, that's mostly CSS, right? And the
homepage template. We'll come over here. Homepage template.php. So obviously we have an open PHP tag, and down here we'll have the closing PHP with get footer. So that function will bring in this page. Since all our HTML and whatnot is contained in PHP tags, it has to be a PHP file type. But we can definitely code in HTML with inside of all of that. So we can.
Vice versa, like if you had an HTML file, you could put PHP in there.
You would want to name that file PHP, otherwise it would not know that there's PHP in there. It would just not know. It would just not pick it up. And so if you ever have PHP in its own page, and you can reference that own page, and if it's .php, it will pick up the PHP inside of it. But if it's .html, it'll just void it. I mean, we can see here that there's a lot of PHP going on, a lot of functions. So you see here we have a get option function, and that's what this is all about. We have a bunch of identifiers here. So I mean, all of this is built on a dynamic framework, and that's what WordPress is all about. Just being able to manipulate something so easily, and that's why they use classes, identifiers, dynamic identifiers, functions, all sorts of stuff. And so then we've got a get header, get sidebar. So these are all functions grabbing different get footer, get sidebar. So it'll bring all those things into the page. So this is where I would go in and edit. Let's say I wanted another space somewhere. I could add a line break right here, or two if I wanted to. And that's just something simple, but you can add that in there right from this page.
And you can make new classes and then go in the style sheet?
Yes, definitely. Okay. Just like you would code HTML and CSS. Yeah. So it's exactly the same once you've moved past WordPress and its interface. Once you're at the editor, this is editing the HTML and CSS that powers the website. And that's how on this site I changed where all this the navigation, because I'll bring up the Boldy theme. So this is this template right here is what I created the Central Virginia Wine Festival website on. So we can see that it's very similar, but it's not exactly the same. Like this, even the drop downs and the hover over. I even changed where the navigation and logo was, and I did this all through CSS. And under the themes section, this is where you can actually, inside WordPress, choose a theme and browse around. So obviously I have the simple folio theme set up on this, since I'm kind of jumping around here, guys. I'm on this Virginia Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and I'm also jumping around on this Central Virginia Wine Festival one. But coming to here for the VCTM, I have simple folio theme, and all you do is go over to the Install Themes tab. What I did is I searched around online and downloaded the files and then zipped it, and then uploaded that zip file to here. And so I've probably actually got a few, yeah, like WordPress here. These are, I would zip that and then upload it, and those directories would contain all the files that we need for our WordPress site. And so we can also in here search around. Well, I guess we won't be, but we can search around inside of WordPress for themes. But I mean, I'm a Google guy. I just kind of search around Google all day long for what I want. So you can do that. You can also search and under manage themes, these are actually, I think these couple, yeah, I think these actually all came with it.